Good evening, everyone. This is Leanne from Of Love and Shiplap and the founder of That Sublimation Graphics and Tutorials on Facebook. If you're joining us on YouTube, feel free to come join our Facebook group for regular tutorials on all things that relate to sublimation, direct to garment printing, white toner printing, and so much more. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys how to foolproof marry two-step paper. This process is really simple and straightforward, but it seems to be one of the things that people complain about the most. So I wanted to do this video early on to show you guys that you don't need a special fancy press, you just have to know how to work with the press that you have, and to show you that marrying your AB paper is not really as difficult as people make it out to seem. So this is going to be a pretty quick video. Let me go ahead and show you exactly what two-step paper is, and then we can get started. Anytime you order a two-step paper, you're gonna have two sheets. The A sheet has this transparent look to it, and then the B sheet is your adhesive sheet. Now, there are different types of paper, as we've discussed and as we mentioned last week, and as I've got spread out on the floor over here. Two-step paper for is for textiles, your clothing primarily. And you always have the option of one-step or two-step. Now, some people prefer to use one-step because they think that it's less work, but the end results are not going to be as favorable as if you use a two-step paper. There are several different two-steps in terms of like the grade. So we are going to be using the the Uninet two-step standard 550 paper today. But they also have a premium and select version as well that you can choose from, which have better elasticity. And I'll be doing a video that shows the differences between using each of those papers and just how they do in their washability and things like that. The reason why you want to use two-step paper on anything that's like a garment that's going to be washed regularly is because you're going to get much better washability, better stretch, and it's going to feel better on the shirt. It's going to have that soft screen print feel instead of it feeling thick like vinyl. So choosing the right paper can really make a difference in your end product and how happy both you and your customer are. The first thing we have to do is get our program into the ProRip software. So I'm going to switch over to the computer and you guys can see that in action. Once you open up your software program, you're going to get a screen that looks just like this. So again, we're using the iColor ProRip software, which comes with the printer. This software is going to give you a lot of capabilities in terms of how you can manipulate and adjust your design. All of those features are things that we're going to go through in different videos, but today I'm just going to show you guys how to get your job set up to print so that we can show you how to foolproof marry that AB paper. The very first thing that you want to do, even before you import a design or anything else, is choose the paper type. So when we click on our drop-down menu, we can see that there is a variety of different papers to choose from. Each one has a different use. And when you receive your sample kit with your Uninet printer, or if you just happen to buy your paper outright, you'll find that the instructions that are concluded do tell you which one of the settings to select. Today we're going to be using the Uninet two-step standard paper. This is the most popular in terms of the two-step papers to use for your white toner printing. It is reasonably priced and it's pretty easy to use, and it gives you a pretty good high quality result. Now, if you wanted to spend a little bit more, you could of course use the premium papers, but the premium paper actually costs about $4 per page per 8.5 by 11 print. So it is a bit more expensive, but the feel is a bit better. We'll be going over that in future videos as well. So you'll notice that you have a couple of different options here. There's the Unet's two-step standard 550 and then with holes and with stripes. Now the holes and stripes refers to rasterization, where the printer will automatically put little holes or small stripes into your design to help it get a more natural and easy feel on the garment. For today, I'm just going to go ahead and choose the regular option because rasterization is something we'll be doing in a future video. Once we set this, it automatically tells us, or it automatically sets all of our settings, and then also tells us what the setup of our toners should look like in our printer. Now, if you're using anything that requires an underprint, this would show you that the white clear would be in the back, and it shows you just how to arrange them. And they are just as easy as popping them out and putting them in the correct spot. So we don't need to make any changes because we've only done overprinting so far, and we have that already set up to go. So we're going to go ahead and click and drag our design. These designs I already have, but if you didn't have your design in, you would select the little page with the green plus sign for open, and then you would be able to choose your file type and import it. I already imported these because I wanted to save us a minute, because they do sometimes take a minute to load with the size of the designs. So I'm going to bring both of them up. And when we do this, it's actually going to, if I zoom out, it's going to put them on 2 separate pages. Now you can absolutely print them this way, but because these designs are going on toddler shirts, they're actually both going to fit on the same page. So I'm going to go ahead and click on page and then click nest all, and this will bring them all onto one page. So now we'll zoom in, we'll get a little bit closer here. We're going to double check our sizes to make sure that they are appropriate for a toddler shirt and those look good. And now the last thing I'm going to do is just center these over a little bit and maybe even move it down just a hair, being mindful of the margins of the page, which are roughly 1/4 of an inch all the way around. There we go. Now, everything is already set up because we selected the paper type, but if maybe we were going to be using a black shirt and we were doing a brighter design, we might want to have to adjust some of the toner output. And that is one of the benefits of the Uninet iColor printer. So in order to do that, we would click on color adjust, and we could slide up the amount of coverage that we have for our white toner. Both of these designs are going on lighter color shirts, so 200% white toner down is going to be perfect. And then our choke just refers to how many pixels under we're going to have. Medium is also fine for this particular design. So we're going to hit OK. And now we're ready to print. Okay, so it only takes a second to print our transfer, and I actually didn't realize I had already selected to print with holes for my squad goals design. That again is called rasterization, and it just helps anything that's solid like this, it helps it feel better on the garment for your finished product and improves washability. But again, we'll go into that more in depth in another video. So I've got one that's rasterized and one's not. The next step is going to be, this is our A paper. That gets fed through the printer. The B paper is the adhesive. So our next step is to marry them. The first thing that we want to do is make sure that our press pressure is at the appropriate pressure. Now, because I'm not using a fancy press that tells me what the pressure is, we have to do this manually. So we're going to do what's called the paper test. I'm just going to take 3 sheets of, you can use computer paper. I'm just using lined paper because I had a notepad here. We're going to set them on the press and we're going to close it. Now, we can't really pull this out, which means that we have medium to firm pressure. You can see it doesn't, even with a good tight pull, it's not coming out. So this is already set at medium to firm pressure, and that's what you're going to be looking for is when you put your test paper in there, you want to make sure that you've got enough pressure that you can't pull this out very easily. Light pressure, this will give a little bit of resistance, but it still shouldn't pull out, just to give you an idea. And I'll just actually show you that really quick. So this would be light pressure. You can see it's giving resistance, but it does still pull out. For this, for marrying our 2-step Uninet paper, we absolutely need to have medium firm pressure. So once again, I'm going to tighten that back up, double check. And we know that this is medium firm instead of firm because it didn't require me a bunch of force to get this to close. If I had to put a lot of force down on the handle to get it to close because of that resistance, that would mean that we were on firm pressure. So this little technique with the paper works anytime you need to adjust your press accordingly for the proper pressure for your substrate. All right, so the very first step is that we want to press our press with nothing on it for a minimum of 30 seconds. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. The reason why we are gonna do this is because your bottom plate of your press does not heat up, and therefore your rubber is not heated either, or silicone, whatever the mat is made out of. So this gets that heat going all the way through, which is going to give you a better result when you marry. And honestly, if you don't do this step, you're probably not gonna get your papers to marry fully and properly. Okay, I obviously gave that a little bit longer than it needed. So we're gonna go ahead and set our transfer down. And then this is what your B paper will look like. And we're going to just put a little bend in the top corner because this will make it easier for us to peel. We're gonna line this up on our press. Line it up with our design. And then you can cover this with a Teflon sheet or craft paper. The craft paper does actually come with your printer. I've got some here. So I'm going to put that over top, double check to make sure my little piece is cornered up there. And then we're gonna go ahead and press this for 120 seconds at 310 degrees. You can, if I can get this to turn. There we go. I'm just doing this on my basic 16 by 20 heat press from acesdeals.net. As you guys know, this has been my heat press since the beginning of this year. Or I think I got it in March. Very affordable option, about $300 with like $30 shipping. So really reasonably priced press. I've had great results with it and no complaints. So this does take about 2 minutes, 120 seconds. If you guys have questions, you can always leave them in the comments, don't forget. And what you want to have ready to go is your heat glove, because this is going to be very hot when it comes out. And we're also going to kind of dual purpose our heat glove. We're going to use this to kind of rub around the paper for about 5 to 10 seconds right after we open our press. And this will allow us to kind of cool it down just a hair, and then still be able to peel it back. We got just 30 seconds to go. And just a reminder, these instructions in detail are provided with your paper. So as long as you follow them like I'm showing you in this video, it'll be smooth sailing. All right, so I'm gonna hold my press just so I don't, it doesn't pop. Pull that craft paper off. We're gonna put our heat glove on. Gotta move quickly here. I'm gonna rub this just a little bit to kind of pull away some of that heat. And now we're gonna grab that little tab that we made and we wanna go slow and steady to peel this off. And you wanna keep it on the press so that that heat will work. So I'll move it forward a little bit so you guys can see a little better. You wanna go at an angle. This is very hot. You wanna go nice and steady, smooth. Try not to stop. And you can see the adhesive is covering our design in the back. And now our transfers are ready. All we have to do is trim off that little bit of white that's right there from the adhesive and anything else we might see. And this is ready to be shipped, or it is ready to be pressed on our garment. So tune in next week where I show you how to press this. I hope you guys have a great night. Bye.